I stand here today with firm resolve that everyone, and I mean everyone, who was in any way involved in this incident will be brought to justice. I want to make that absolutely clear. The incident is one which cannot be allowed to stand in any way, lest it become the normal routine of criminals. It is a criminal act. It is against our laws. It is an attack on the public order.
Welcome to Crime Time News and Entertainment with a Buzz. That was your Prime Minister responding to that devastating incident in a place called Cherry Tree Lane, Forepath, Clarendon, in which at least 8 persons lost their life. 9 or 10 more are in the hospital, some battling, some not life-threatening injuries. This was said to have been because of some sorts of reprisal for 2 sets of gangs that have been going back and forth at it since about 2020 or so. I am going to give you the details of the sequence of things further on in this news. So this is your Prime Minister telling you that, listen, we cannot sit and watch as a government, as law enforcement, while these people get from bad to worse, where it is not just any sort of gunman waging any sort of war in any sort of era against their rival. This has now become terroristic. But people, the truth and the fact is that it might be the worst. But we've seen very despicable crimes being committed on a daily, weekly, yearly basis. And we've heard this start before. So therefore we can say maybe he is actually serious, but it seems as if he is capping. So you hear him saying whichever local people, whichever overseas people that are involved directly or indirectly, they will be searched, seek, found, and imprisoned or destroyed, meaning fatally arrested. But like I've said, we've seen it, we've heard it all before, and like they say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. This is probably going to be a next 15-day or 9-day talk like the ones we've seen before. So like I said before, this is a long-standing deadly rivalry that has been going on for about 5 years or so between 2 families or 2 sets of gangs over some sorts of lottery scamming money that went wrong. Friends turn enemies, so therefore people know where other people's people are. So whenever they are ready to go for them, it is going to be deadly. Such is the case in this case. What we've also learned, based on what law enforcement word on the streets, is that this thing involves people from inner the penitentiary, people from foreign, local gangs from all over the place. So therefore, persons are orchestrating it. It is a big network of FUCKRY. And that is what we see being played out. Your Prime Minister also had something to say about his interaction with overseas partner, meaning specifically the United States of America. This is exactly what he has to say. Take a listen, take a look.
I made 2 trips to Washington, where I met with the Department of Justice, and we have provided those lists, 31 names, I believe, and they are still under, well, I don't want to say too much, but the cooperation with our partners continue. And as I said, I have to be very careful what information I give, but certainly the cooperation continues with the Department of Justice, and indeed with all the other agencies, and our cooperation continues with them, which is why I've said that in this particular instance, where we know that there are connections overseas, we will be pursuing it given the channels that we have opened with our cooperation with our overseas partners.
So people, you heard what your Prime Minister had to say. He spoke to officials, Justice Ministry, legal people overseas, and he gave them a list of names. 31 names to be specific of persons who are either facilitators, dons, sending toll, financing the gangs in Jamaica, dangerous individuals that the United States, Jamaica is asking the assistance from their unilateral friends, and they want to hold these people, send them back to Jamaica to face justice. People, all of this sounds good. But one thing that we know with Jamaica, the government of Jamaica, relevant authority, they talk a lot, but they do very little. They are very arrogant. However, they are very incompetent, negligent, and irresponsible. Because here is the thing. Yes, he went to Washington a couple of times, and yes, there were talks. However, when you talk, if you don't put those talks into play, meaning that you are the initiator, the person that is complaining that you have XYZ problem, so therefore these are the people that are creating XYZ problem. However, if you do not move it any further, if you don't take it to the furthest extent, so based on information that I am getting from people, family members, friends that work directly, indirectly with the United States intelligence, it is said that yes, a report was filed, yes, there were complaints filed, yes, there were names given, yes, but there is more information that is needed. When it comes to United States of America, you can't just give them hearsay. You have to give them proof why they should go to this person. Disrupt this person's life without evidence, without facts. You can't just say, this man I do that or that man I do that without proving any sorts of facts. Any sorts of evidence, it has to be concrete because they do not want to get any sorts of lawsuit. Even if that person is illegally in their country, that is not how it works. You have to dot the I and cross the T when it comes to America. The government of Jamaica is not able to do that, even when they are desperate. So people, he is capping once again. Whole heap of talk, little bit of action.
One of the things that I want Jamaican to be aware of, that the gang leaders, the hierarchy of the gang, when you look at their lifestyle, they send their children to the best schools, they live the best life. And when you look at the so-called foot soldiers, they live in depravity, hand to mouth, all they can fend for themselves. And they have been tricked by these individuals by giving them a weapon and cause them to believe that a firearm empower them. We are going to reverse it by...
And you think you now have the tools to do that?
Oh, we have been, and we are going to reverse it to the point where people become afraid of even being associated with a gang. And we are committed, the law enforcement agencies are committed to ensure that that is done.
So the Assistant Commissioner of Paul Fitzbailey pretty much echoed the sentiments of your Prime Minister Andrew Holness, and he said there will be no sorts of resources that are going to be spared. No sorts of manpower. We will find them, seek them, and bring them to the furthest extent of the law, meaning either them are going to be DEADING, is either the big yard or the graveyard. However, he made a very important point in when he said the people that are the masterminds in these criminal organizations that are living like rock superstar celebrity. But there's a polar difference with the people that are actually out there committing these wicked acts. Them are live like dog. They are living less than hand to mouth. So these people who are the foot soldiers, call them dirty foot soldiers, because whenever you see the poor hold on upon them or take them out, them in some sorts of broke down type of slippers. Them foot back look dirty. Them clothes look like some mad people clothes. So they are not living any sorts of life, but they're out there taking all sorts of risks because they are manipulated by these dons, these mastermind behind all of these criminal activities. So therefore, them feel as if, yeah, we want to be the don too. However, there's a process. We have to wait. We have to work our way up. So we start by taking away people, but we are not properly compensated. And a lot of times when these persons are found, or the poor take them out, they look no better than the madman on the street, them dirty, them foot back dirty, and even worse, the family member, whenever they die, they are the burden of the family because them are left not because they had nothing to leave. So the Assistant Commissioner of Popo is making you know that, listen, these people are really fully dons. Because when you look at the lifestyle of the dons or the master manipulators, them might live like superstar, them have the nicest cars, they live in the nicest neighborhoods, their children are going to the nicest schools, well properly educated. But the other people, them are DEAD like dog, even though they're out there taking out people just like dogs in the streets. So when we hear the Prime Minister talk and we hear the Assistant Commissioner of Popo talk, yes, it is the politically right thing to say at this time when the country or that era is mourning. But when we think about the facts of the results that we've been getting, the fact that these things have been happening for years and decades, and whenever any sorts of incident like this happen, we see the political move. People are crying, people are saying, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, we are going to put our foot down. However, 9 days later, it is as if it never happened. Back to square one, back to the normal. We are speaking about abnormal being normal. So unless we are going to get these results, then we can just say, your Prime Minister and the Commissioner of Popo, stop the capping until we see the result. We should not believe. Now the sad thing about this situation, not only is it being mastermind orchestrated from people in the big yard, people overseas, different gang members from all over the place. The Popo are also just as guilty. The Popo, it is said, is giving these gang members information as to when the Popo come for them, as to when them hot, so therefore they can take away themselves. So therefore when you hear the Prime Minister and the Assistant Commissioner of Popo saying, well, the gang members locally and internationally are doing XYZ. Yes, they are. But the problem becomes worse when they are getting assistance, they are getting backing. The Popo are picking side because the Popo's pocket is being laced by the same BLOOD money, scamming money on people. It is a lot. Now, based on the information that I am getting, these people, meaning Cherry Tree Lane and also Havana Heights, most of these people come from a place that is called Moko. And then one person say, you know, some auntie live over here so and space there so we can get some sorts of land. So over the years or decades, people start to move. So all of them used to be friends, go to each other's house, including these gangsters that are making a whole bunch of money from the chopping, specifically one that is called Derek Azan, known as Black Azan, because you have the white or the Syrian Azan, that is the rich people in Jamaica. No people, them call this one the Black Azan because he is chopping the line in a major way. So based on the information that I am getting, about 2000 or so, the war started. In 2021, again, there was a reprisal. In 2022, there were 2 reprisals. However, the most known reprisal is the one that took place in a place called Havana Heights, in which 4 persons lost their life. The name of those 4 persons, Tashana White, 33-year-old, Sharona White, 25-year-old sister, Luke Newman, 19-year-old, and Michael Salmon. It is said that these are two sisters, and then one of the person, he is common law husband, and then the next person, he is a cousin. So therefore, the whole family got wiped out. There were at least 3 houses in that little place, in which when the people am running with all sorts of tall up, gather the people and take out everybody ASSINATION style. Everybody getting at the chest or the head. It is said that Mr. Derek Azan was the person that masterminded this takeaway that took place in Havana Heights. So therefore, Derek Azan, Black Azan, he is from Cherry Tree Lane. He orchestrated the takeaway in Havana of those 4 persons, mostly family member, common law husband. So it is said that this now is a reprisal for the people in Havana coming to take back out Derek Azan's family or friends or close associates. Now people, it kind of calmed down from 2022 to 2024, and that is because justice was swift. Mr. Azan was already locked up for about 35 to 45 to maybe 75 years. It is conflicting because him appeal and the time kept changing. So my point is this, that reprisal that should have taken place for a very long time was kind of delayed because persons felt as if they had some sort of justice because he was convicted. But it was only going to delay because these people, like me say, them hate each other's gut. These people know everybody's business. So when we saw this attack in which 17 persons, including 8, losing them life, we shouldn't have been surprised. I spoke about this a couple of years ago, and I said reprisal was going to come. It is going to be imminent. People, like me tell you, this is the Black Cat channel. Whenever I talk, it is going to be like the gospel. It might get delayed. However, it is going to come through. Now, before I close, yesterday when I did my video, I said that they held 4 men who were said to be suspect in the takeaway and pie up of those 17 persons. Well, people, guess what? Based on information that I am getting, it is said that it was persons coming from Cherry Tree Lane that was planning, plotting and scheming some sorts of reprisal back to the people from Havana Heights. However, the Popo pulled them over. They disobeyed. It was 4 men on bike. Popo pulled them over. Them disobeyed. Popo run them down. When them searched, they had one type of tool, I think a 9mm. Based on what the Popo are surmising, they were going on some sorts of reprisal. But people, maybe this lockup is what we call a blessing in disguise. Because it makes no sorts of sense if some people roll up in a year block with A to the K, M to the 16, 4, 5, 9, and then you are going to go back forget these people. When the Popo hold you, maybe you were going to your DEATH, or maybe one tool can do a whole bunch of damage, me just a say. But me just a say, if you're going to launch any sorts of attack on people, this is not reprisal for dummy 101, me just a say. It makes no sorts of sense. They were getting emotional and they were probably going to lose their own life or take away innocent people. The BLOOD shed continues. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. And last but not least, please subscribe to my next channel. It is called Jamaica Dancehall Source. I'll be pinning the link to that channel in the description of this video. Bless up.